Hi, I wanted to briefly cover what's going to be on the midterm. It's not an overly complicated midterm, and it's going to be based on the work we've done so far. So, the main areas you want to think about are logical reasoning, and this one you'd want to go back to that CSI as wishful thinking presentation and what you learned from the article itself. So we want to separate this wishful thinking and start thinking in the scientific way. And that's what we mean by logical reasoning. We're going to take a logical premise and we're going to compare that to variables to see what the change is. I'll give you more resources on this after the midterm, but right now you just need to think about the difference. Don't worry too much about what logical reasoning is. Just remember it's different than wishful thinking, or it's different than what you see on TV or fiction. Probably the most important thing you need to do is be clear and concise. That's what I'm going to be trying to get you to think about as we move forward, is how can you be more clear? How can you be more concise? We're going to be focusing on inquiry questions, and I'm drawing from your inquiry questions that you've already given me to think about how we can make those better. I want to see whether you understand the United Nations goals. So what you should do is go back and watch the introductory video, go to the United Nations website and see what are the point of these sustainability goals. What's the big picture? Then your thesis needs to be based in the idea of law as social change. And so what actors are trying to use the law to change this situation in society? Then you need to see the courts as a place, and I'll use the phrase venue, right? So it's a choice that people make about whether they want to activate their rights. And then you need to remember that there's always competing ideas, as you've already seen in the videos that I presented so far. The very first question will be a survey question, so it's not graded, but it is required. And the question is, what do you think the relationship between local action, global problems, and international human rights law is? And this one is just asking you for your opinion, so you can't get that wrong. The second question will be these, what I call first level questions, just trying to see, are you getting the basics? And so just explain to me as clearly as you can, what are the United Nations sustainability goals? I don't want to see you copy and paste from the United Nations Sustainability Goals website. Okay, by the way, that is called cheating, and you can get kicked out of school and banned from any future school. So what I want to see is, what does this mean to you? What do you think it is? Second level, why are these goals necessary? Like, why do we need to set these goals? Why don't these problems just solve themselves? Why are we having to worry about these things? Then you're going to apply this idea of second level, which is, I'm going to give you 3 inquiry questions the student have asked. I want you to choose the one that is most clear, most concise, and that measures only 2 variables as it applies to this question. Finally, the third level is going to ask you, how can the courts be used as a venue for you to make the change you are studying? It cannot is an F answer. So like I said before, and some of you seem to still be having a hard time with this, the more you read history and the more you expand your research and the more you use your brain, you will find that folks have already made change. So you must be thinking of broad 7 billion people change. And that is kind of missing the point of the actor network theory and the kind of work that we're doing. You need to identify specific groups of people. So every day, groups of people use law to make change in their lives. So you need to explain, how can that happen in the court system given the goal that you're looking at? So if it's poverty, if it's education, healthcare, climate change, whatever. Okay. So you want to start trying to phrase that way. And so this isn't like about getting the right answer. This is about me seeing whether you can do logical reasoning. So I'll go back to that so you remember So these answers are going to show, can you do logical reasoning? Is your answer based on a logical sequence of facts? Are you being clear and concise? Is this matching what I'm trying to get you to do in the inquiry question, which is be specific and understand the humans in the situation? So all of these are kind of just leading you up to being able to answer this third level question. And this is kind of the main point as we move to the second part of the semester. And then finally, I'm going to ask you one more survey question, ungraded but required, is briefly summarize what you need to research, your plan, and what you hope to learn from your research. And then one question you have about the research paper.